So we're going to do a color chart with our color we're using, which is the introduction set, the 6th set from Core Watercolor. And I just made a grid on my paper, 1-inch grid. I actually did it all the way and then I just split it in half because it's just duplicates if you keep going. So I did my list down here and then I did my list the same order down here, because when we come to Hansa Yellow Light and Hansa Yellow Light, that's going to be the same color. So we're going to just fill in our colors we're using right down the line, and then we will start mixing them with each other. So I'm just gonna wet, this brush might be a little small. Just going to get some of that Hansa Yellow Light. Make sure your brush is good and clean. Yellow contaminates so easily. And I'm just going to paint it like this. Now, the reason why I picked this set, even though it doesn't have a second yellow, which I usually do, but this is such a cool, pure yellow that it'll be so easy just to add a smidge of red, the warm red to it, and make it like a gamboge or an Indian yellow. So it's really not that big of a deal. The least amount of paint you can learn to work with, the better off you'll be. Mixing will become easy and you'll get to know those paints, and then if you want to introduce some convenience colors, that's fine. But start out with a limited palette, and that's what we're doing here. So that was my Hansa Yellow Light, and now I'm going to put my phthalo blue out. I'm just going to put it on a separate container over here because it's so dark. I do not want to contaminate the yellow. These are just actually lids off of these sets. Now I bought my sets a while ago, so I believe they've made the package a little smaller, I think. Not 100% sure. So make sure my brush is good and clean. Probably should have a Kleenex just to get the excess water off. And we're going to pull some of this. Make sure it's nice and watery. You want a nice consistency. See how that glides on nice? You don't want it sticky, it should be wet. Watercolor's made to be wet. Just gonna rinse our water. I should actually have 2 water too, one for clean water, but we'll be okay. And if not, I'll stop it and I'll go get another one, or I'll change that one. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to mix this row, phthalo blue and Hansa Yellow. So now, always take a bit of your lightest color first and put it off to the side. Now I'm going to give you a little hint about phthalo blue. It is a high stainer and it overpowers things very easily, a lot like the alizarin crimson does as well. So I am going to take the tip, just this little tip right here, the corner, and I'm just going to grab a little on the corner of the brush, like next to none, and then I'm going to mix it into the yellow. See how much that's saturated? Now that's pretty thick, so I'm going to grab a little bit of water just on the tip. You don't want to water it down too much. So we'll put that right there, and of course with more yellow it would look more like a yellow-green, with more blue it would look more blue. So that is that one. Now we're going to rinse our brush good, and I'm going to put my ultramarine blue out. And I think you're getting the picture, so I'll just put that over here. Now I'm going to mix the ultramarine blue with the Hansa Yellow Light, because we're going across and down. And then after that we'll mix the ultramarine blue with the phthalo blue. So remember, grab your lightest color first. Put in a little well, make sure it's got some liquid to it. Rinse your brush and start with just a corner. And especially if you're dipping into paint that is not watered down, like if you're dipping into paint that is straight out of the tube, you really should water it down a little. See, I grabbed straight out of the tube, and you see how thick that made it? Thank goodness I had a little bit of water. And I'm just, when I say water, I'm just touching the corner, just the corner, and I'm going to actually just touch that to get some water off. See how liquidy that made it? So that is ultramarine blue and Hansa yellow. Now if you notice, this is a duller green. And the ultramarine blue has red in it, so you've got blue, red, and yellow, so your color is going to be more muted because you have the 3 primaries. Alright, so now we're going to go to the phthalo blue and the ultramarine blue. And I'm just going to do that over here on my dark. There we go. This makes a really brilliant, vibrant blue if you mix the 2 blues together. And a lot of times if you want a really vibrant red or a vibrant color, you mix 2 reds or mix 2 blues and it ups the intensity. So now we're going to go to the Pyrrole Red Light. And I think you're getting the picture, so I'm going to stop talking so I'll be able to speed this up rather than you have to sit through the whole thing and listen to me. I will stop talking and keep mixing. If you are unclear on anything or uncertain, pop a question in the Facebook group. We'll talk to you soon. There, all done. And if you noticed, I went back over a couple of them. I had made my mixes a little too liquidy, which made them look a little too thin. Like this one's a little liquidy. If that was done with thicker paint, that would look black. But anyway, you get the idea. This gives you practice mixing and it gives you an idea of the range of colors that you can get with these colors. You can also get a bigger range, of course, adding water to make them lighter, less water to make them darker, and then bringing in a 3rd color, but just a smidge, because if you mix all 3 primaries in an equal manner, you will end up with a muted black or dark brown or mud, I guess they call it. I hope this exercise is helpful. Please post your exercises, your color charts in the Facebook group. Talk to you soon.